Welcome back to the Proximity is Power podcast. This is episode 12, and I have my longtime chiropractor friend, Brett Anderson, here today.
Glad to be here. He's
the man. I've been seeing Dr. Brett since high school, so it's been about 10 years, and he's a miracle worker, truly. Like me and my family had so many injuries playing sports, wrestling, Jameis wrestling, and then football and stuff, and he's worked wonders. He owns a chiropractor clinic here in Utah. It's called the Body Chiropractic, right? I'll put a link in the.
Truthfully, though, I'm half owner because Dr. Christina is the other half of the owner.
She's the other miracle worker.
She's the other miracle worker. Yeah.
Heck yeah! No, excited to have you on today. It's gonna be fun. Not only is Dr. Brett a really good chiropractor, but we go to him with all of our health questions,
right? Exactly.
Right, since forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, thanks for coming on. Today's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So just getting right into things. Tell us a little about you, where you're from, how you got into this whole thing.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from the coast of Washington State, like the ocean beaches.
Yeah.
2 hours from Seattle. But big
Seahawks fan.
Big Seahawks fan. We're actually going to see the Mariners at spring training next weekend.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. I got into chiropractic as my third career.
Wow.
Did you even know that?
Yeah, I think you were in like national wildlife, right?
So my first career, I was a junior high school history and social studies special education teacher. I did all of that.
Wow.
Spent most of my time teaching 7th, 8th, 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for 14 years. Then I went into the Washington Fish and Wildlife, and I was a enforcement police officer. So I went to the police academy, and in Washington State, they're cops. They're state cops, though, that choose to focus on just fish and wildlife crime.
Mm.
But if somebody's, driving DUI in front of them, they get to pull them over too.
Yeah.
So
I've actually only ran into one. I got in trouble in high school with the wildlife cop.
Nice.
Like my friend, me and my friend sawed off the antler of a dead deer, and we posted the video on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then a month later, a cop shows up to the high school asking questions. But anyway, that's crazy. So you were a teacher for 14 years.
Yeah.
And then
I was with the Fish and Wildlife for 4 years.
So what made you that's a big transition.
Oh, I just needed to be done with teaching.
Okay, just something different.
Yeah, just needed to, and really it was figure out another way to help people.
Yeah. And
it was, I was always a hunter, always fishing, all that stuff, and I thought that was the way to go. The coolest thing that happened to me in the police academy was I got my butt beat. And they do this thing called Fight for Life, and you basically learn what you need to work on. I needed to learn that I didn't need to try to wrestle somebody that outweighed me by 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And I literally got picked up, dropped on my head.
Wow.
I shouldn't say dropped on my head. I got thrown into the ground on my head.
Yeah, that hurts.
And so from then on, that was my first concussion in the police academy.
Yeah, wow.
I ended up getting another one in the police academy less than a month later.
Another concussion?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then once I got to my agency, I actually got another concussion out in defensive tactics training.
Wow.
As well. And it's just that, you hear about the second concussion being worse than the first.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And your brain's not ready for it, and it's not healed up, and you just that's when the real bad symptoms happen.
Yeah.
So
how does somebody that suffers from like a head injury, how can they tell if they have a concussion? Because playing football, concussion, I'm sure I've got many concussions.
There's the obvious thing, like you got knocked out.
Yeah. It never had that happen, luckily.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. If you've been knocked out, you saw stars, lights blinked off for a little bit, and they didn't actually blink off.
Yeah.
That's a concussion. But there's levels of it. And so the first one, lights are out. It was actually on video, like my training fight. It was on video, and there's parts where I'm moving around and there's nobody home.
Wow.
But after that, the next one, I just took a punch from somebody that shouldn't have been, a real big problem, but my brain was still injured, wasn't healed yet. And just woke up on the ground. And the next one after that didn't get knocked out, but it had the effect because once again, my brain still wasn't healed. Yeah, the biggest thing for me was symptoms of like massive headaches, lights that were too bright would trigger headaches. Of course, in the moment you might puke, but stuff like that. Sometimes sounds would be too intense for me, and then I get a massive headache. So for me, it was massive headaches. For other people, they might just be a little dizzy or something like that. Yeah. I worked a lot on the ocean out there, so I was what they called a marine officer. So I always was on a boat someplace, and there was times where I could be perfectly fine and everybody else would be puking. That was my normal. And so my balance and stuff on the ocean was great. Afterwards, though, there was also times when it'd be nice and flat, nobody else is puking, and I'm the only one. And it was just something with my brain wasn't correct. And the crazy thing is, I had no clue any of this was a problem. Didn't know that migraines were a problem. Didn't know that sounds would trigger migraines, or didn't know any of that was a problem until like 5 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was that kind of what sparked your interest in chiropractics then?
So the first thing was I went to my chiropractor because for the very first time, because I had shoulder pain for like months. And then one day I woke up and my shoulder didn't hurt, except I couldn't raise my arm.
Dang.
And I was like, well, I better, I'm broken now. So I better go see somebody about this.
Right.
So I went to a chiropractor who kind of used techniques like I use. I'm not a traditional chiropractor.
Right.
I use tools to do the adjustments, and I don't twist or pop anybody's neck off or anything like that. I don't yank them down the table too far.
Right.
I don't wrap a strap around their neck and yank them down the table.
Right.
But so he used techniques kind of like we do now, and he popped around on my neck a couple of times, and then he goes, "Raise your arm," and I'm thinking in my head, "You're an idiot." Yeah. Because you never even looked at my shoulder. Yeah. You never checked it out one bit. And of course, I raised my arm, and it was zero pain.
Wow.
And that's when he was like, "You got nerves in your neck that feed all the motion for your shoulder and your hand. Yeah. And your neck is messed up." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it is."
So that's when you're like, "Holy crap."
I was like, "That's works. Pretty awesome." And that was actually when I was still teaching. And so
that was like your first intro to
it. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And I go into the police academy. I see him a little bit when I'm an officer every now and then. And then one time he's just like, "What are you doing? You're just beating yourself up." And he's like, "You should try chiropractic school." Fast forward, here I am.
Wow. So how old were you when you started school for chiropractic?
Chiropractic school, I was 40.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're still young. You don't even look 40 right now.
Oh. Do I look 54?
Yeah, you 50.
Because I'm going to be 54 in March.
54? Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I didn't even know that. Okay. Yeah. So you were 40 and you'd already basically worked in a career of some type for 20 years.
Pretty close, yeah.
And you're just like, I'm going to transition and go figure this stuff out.
Still trying to figure out how best to help people.
Wow. Yeah. And then, so you went to school. How long was school for you?
It was a little bit longer for me because I ended up transferring from, I started chiropractic school in Portland, and then I transferred to chiropractic school in Oakland. And so I had to, they taught different things because Oregon teaches it for chiropractors that are, you're getting the Oregon chiropractic, whatever they can do. So their scope of practice in Oregon, they can actually deliver babies.
Wow.
I didn't get any of that, but I did get blood drawing. So if I had to, I could draw your blood.
Wild.
But there's only a couple of states that actually do that. So like that class that I took for drawing blood, I didn't need it when I went to California.
Oh, that makes sense.
California has completely different rules.
Gotcha.
So there was some California things that I had to take down there, and had to kind of catch up to because I took classes I didn't need.
So and then school was how many years?
I got done in 2015.
Okay. And then, so you've been practicing chiropractics now
since then. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Heck
so
yeah.
we've been senior family, I'm pretty sure, since 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck
so, everybody, including the dogs.
Yeah. All of them. Okay. So really cool. And then, so you start doing chiropractics and do you just fall in love with it right away?
No, it was, so one, school was super hard for me. Yeah. And one, cause I was older, but two, I started school with post-concussion syndrome. Yeah. And I didn't even know it. And so I would study, like when I lived up and went to school in Portland, I would study, and eventually it got to the point where I had to cram, like wake up at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning and cram until test time. Wow. Because what I figured out was I'd study the night before, I got to get a good night's sleep, go to bed, go to the exam and kill it and rock it. There was times when I went to the exam and I had no clue what I was looking at. Like it looked like a different language. Really? Oh yeah. It was neurology, and I didn't know what these words meant. When you had studied. And I would be in groups studying and doing flashcards and all that stuff, and doing Venn diagrams, and I knew how to study and all along, and I'd go, and it was not in my long-term memory. And that's part of the concussion stuff. And up until that time, I was still having those migraines. All of that was still 100%. The craziest thing is all of that I didn't figure out until like 2014, when I got into some chiropractic classes that were talking about concussion and what happens with concussion. And, the instructor's talking about it, and I'm like, every one of those is me, except it was me like 2 years ago. And basically when I went to school in California, I started getting a really different type of chiropractic care that only adjusts one vertebrae in your neck. Except what they've shown with great research is that chiropractic care changes the blood flow into your brain and changes the cerebral spinal fluid flow out of your brain. Wow. And we need as much of that to be normalized as possible, so we can get, oxygen in the blood to our brain and get rid of the metabolites that kind of gunk up the system up there. And then we use the laser. We've got the red laser, red light therapy. We've got the green one and the violet one now too, but I started getting that in chiropractic school too. And literally from when I transferred down there, within 2 weeks of starting school, like things were night and day. Really? Like I could actually study and remember things, and school kind of became easy. And I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. Still not piecing it together because I hadn't had that class yet. Gotcha. And so, and really that class really changed everything. But then too, my dad was diagnosed with dementia in 2012, and it was I that was interacting with him. We were actually watching a baseball game, and I went to the bathroom and came back, and he tried to tell me what happened, and he couldn't tell me what just happened. Yeah. And he eventually passed away in 2018 from dementia, but trying to figure out what was going on with him, and through his diagnosis of dementia and everything, that's when I was like, how can I avoid this later? Right. And then that's how I got on the whole health kick. Yeah.
So you're a chiropractor turned like health enthusiast.
Oh yeah, completely.
Body hacker. Yeah. So I guess if somebody,
I don't actually call it a hack though.
Yeah.
I call it actually like real health. Okay. It's real health.
It is true. It's true.
And part of that is chiropractic we know that the body can heal itself, and it doesn't need too much outside influence to do that.
Right. Medicine, prescriptions.
Right. Yeah. Some of them, of course, are great.
Yeah.
Like emergency medical services.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Broken.
Yeah, exactly. Surgery
bones,
for broken whatever.
Yeah.
Gallbladder issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes not. But I have patients that have experience with both where it's like, oh, I could have done this. So
if someone thinks that they've had a concussion, what would be some good steps to take?
Fasting.
Let's talk about that. So fasting, like water fasting, food fasting.
Yeah, exactly. Like say you're playing. What we do for our patients is if they tell us that they've had a concussion or whatnot, we're gonna check their neck really good, because every time that there's an impact to the head or the skull, it's gonna affect the neck, and we want to make sure that blood's flowing up into the brain cases. Yep, and then also make sure that the cerebral spinal fluid's coming out. With that, well, like with Cash, my son, he had a concussion, and it was a couple of things. The main thing is you don't want to eat any like bread. You don't want to eat any sugary food or anything like that. And it's because that concussion is the brain needs fuel, and the fuel it's going for is glucose. And so we're going to limit that amount. So we're going to limit the fuel, and so we're not going to have it be as massive of a cascade of inflammation in the brain. And then within like a week or so, you should get some red light therapy on it, because red light therapy decreases inflammation and it increases ATP. So we're getting energy and we're getting decreased inflammation. And so,
wow. So you'd recommend getting adjusted right when you get a concussion, red light therapy, and then avoiding sugar and breads for sure, if not all foods.
Yeah.
For how long?
As long as you can, basically.
Yeah.
If you can do overnight, like
good 24 hours at least.
If you could do it 24, most people can't just do it 24 hours. You know that.
I can do 24 hours.
You can probably do 24. Yeah. Can you do 72?
I've done 72. I don't know
Should we ask your wife about that?
No, I have. I don't think she was married to me when I
I
did that.
Because once you were married, didn't you try 72?
Yeah,
and
I tapped out. She didn't. Yeah, she kept going. So, okay, fasting's huge. Concussions wise, and how is fasting beneficial if you don't have a concussion? Like
it's a total body reset, and it's when we fast, your body, it's almost like it goes into Superman mode, or
like a restart on your body.
It goes into protection mode. So without getting too far into down the rabbit hole of neurology, you have the parasympathetic side of the nervous system. You have the sympathetic.
Yeah.
Sympathetic is that fight or flight mode. There's a bear chasing you in Yellowstone, and you got to get away. Parasympathetic is rest, and most people think digest, and that's true, but it's also heal. And that's really what happens when we start fasting, is your body goes into parasympathetic mode, and it starts healing and protecting you. So there's all sorts of hormones and different chemicals that in our body that when we're fasting, that they'll start increasing. And I don't have the notes right in my head, but like growth hormone is the biggest one.
Yeah. There's a spike. Yeah.
We want as much growth hormone as possible.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, when we go work out, we want as much growth hormone as possible flowing around. So that we can get the benefits from that. And I think it's day 4 of fasting, water fasting, day 4, 96 hours. That's when growth hormone peaks. It doesn't just rise up and then drop straight back down. So you're gradually coming up and then you're coming back down. And so if you're going 5 to 7 days, you're still going to get great benefits because it's still going to be higher than it was when you started.
Wow.
Growth hormone, stem cells start, autophagy starts occurring. And what autophagy is it's just your body's natural recycling mode.
Yeah. Cleaning up all the crap.
It just, you target different cells that aren't behaving or working or kind of have been around for too long. And it just starts dissolving them and then using those as fuel.
Yeah.
And then, getting rid of them.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard that a lot of people think that they get energy from eating food. But I heard that like your body uses most of its energy just digesting,
Yeah, and it stores some of that food you ate too.
Right.
I like to think of it as it gets energy from that food you had a couple of days ago or a day ago. So it's kind of like you're prepping it. Yeah, for next. But we can, if we've got a little extra weight on us, we can tap into that and use that. We're just carrying it around with us.
Right. Because what I heard is someone should try fasting do a 24-hour fast at least once a month, a year, and then do a 3-day fast 4 times a year, like every quarter, and then try to do one big 5 to 7 day fast at least once a year.
Is that from what you heard? Do you remember why?
I don't remember why.
Exactly.
But I remember that's what you should do.
That's what you should do. Right.
I sell myself on this on this stuff and then tell myself how often I need to do it, but then I forget why I'm doing it. I just know it's good to do that.
It is. And that's great. But it also depends on what you're doing in between all of those fasts too. And especially like with food. Yeah. Food wise, of course.
Yeah.
And like for me and how I think of it is we have our physical health, our mental and emotional health. And I kind of tend to say emotional health. And then we have our chemical health. Yeah. And then we have about 8 different things that all make up all 3 of those. So like with food, I always think of food as information. It's not fuel, it's info. And it's information for our physical health. How's our food, how's that cheeseburger from McDonald's gonna affect our physical health? How is it going to affect our mental or our emotional health?
Interesting.
How is it going to affect our chemical health? And, the cheeseburger, the Big Mac from McDonald's is going to affect it different than like a ribeye. Or
especially if it's grass-fed.
Grass-fed ribeye.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like calories does not equal a calorie.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like different quality protein, different quality food is going to affect. That's cool. Like you have it in that. So you have spiritual, not spiritual.
Physical, emotional,
and chemical. Gotcha.
Yep. Right.
That's really cool. Because I also think about like back in the old days, like with cavemen, right? Like cavemen didn't get 3 meals a day. Cavemen didn't live in houses that were heated to 72 degrees and cooled to 72 degrees. Like, and I feel like it's healthy to be hungry. It's healthy to get an extreme heat, extreme cold. Like that's actually natural and our bodies need that. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's good stress. And it's, I guess it's almost like environmental or physical stress that is, causes our body to kind of adapt to that.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Right.
And then keep going.
100%. That makes sense. And also like even working out is stress on the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our ancestors were on their feet 24/7, surviving, getting food, like shelter, all that stuff. And we just sit on a couch, 72 degrees, 3 meals a day. Right. Don't have to do anything to get them. And it's just
But you eat 3 meals a day?
No, I don't. I don't, but most people do.
I know, right.
Yeah. So I guess someone listening to this, like what what are some things that they could start doing today that would make the biggest difference on their health?
The biggest and the easiest is start moving.
Yeah.
You know, walking, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Where you gotta walk, you gotta move a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So that's, you know, exercise.
How long?
Everybody's different. Yeah. Sorry.
As much as you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Because,
Okay.
you know, whereas say you are pretty active and everything, good for you might be 45 minutes of something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody else, it might be 10 and they're tapped out. Well, do that 10,
Mm-hmm.
get tapped out. Later on the day, do another 5. Later on after that, do another 5.
Mm.
And so you multiple times of moving.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we can walk around in our house for 5 minutes and still get a benefit.
Yeah.
When it's, you know, snowing and whatever outside.
Totally.
So
I even catch myself on phone calls, like just pacing.
Sure.
And that's, I feel way better doing that than just sitting on a desk, you know, doing that same.
have you seen my little 10-pound kettlebell by the table?
I think I've noticed it. Yeah.
It's right by the garbage can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I do between patients.
Oh, heck
is,
yeah.
Is if I'm feeling a little whatever,
Yeah.
you know, maybe I feel a little tired. I might feel a little anxious. I might feel whatever. I'll just do some kettlebell squats with right there.
Heck yeah.
And it takes less than a minute, 40
Yeah.
seconds. And really, when you look at exercise, the main thing with exercise, it's not the physical. Remember the 3?
Yeah.
It's the chemical and the emotional that it targets.
Really?
Because we all know those, you know,
Mm-hmm.
feel good chemicals and how we feel after we just worked out and stuff like that. You know, we can take on the world.
100%.
And that's the key for exercise.
Interesting.
The physical side of it comes later.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So exercise 1.
Exercise. Yeah. I don't know if it's number 1. It's
Okay.
just the first one we hit.
Yeah. Okay. Number 1, first one we hit.
Sunlight.
Sunlight.
Yeah.
So
you gotta get sunlight for those chemicals.
what if it's a cloudy day outside?
Do longer.
Do longer. Go
Yeah.
outside longer.
Yep. Like, and you don't even, I get it the easiest way possible.
How?
Literally, I'm driving to work on State Street.
Uh-huh.
I've got the window rolled down
Uh-huh.
and I'm getting sunlight into my eyes. I'm
Wow.
not staring at it, but
Yeah.
as I'm going down the road here, it's coming in over here.
So
So that's my sunlight for the day.
that's good. So good to know. So do you have to have the window down?
You do.
You do.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Direct sunlight.
Direct sunlight.
Every
Just don't
day.
stare at the sun.
How long? 5-10 minutes at least?
Yeah, usually like 5 to 10 minutes. If for some reason it's cloudy and I don't get that,
Yeah.
I kind of do a lap around the
walk.
building, around
Okay.
our office,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and just in the clouds and stuff.
Yeah. Because you can still
So-
get sunburned in the overcast weather
Yeah,
anyway.
thanks.
Because I even noticed that our new house in Saratoga
Uh-huh.
is like you walk outside and it's just sun, where before, you know, it was the opposite side and it was always shade.
Oh yeah.
And I just sat there for like 5 minutes and I'm like, I feel so much better.
Oh yeah. Right.
Like it's crazy. Even in the dead of winter, you
Oh, yeah.
know, like you can feel the heat in the
And really, what that's going for, what the sunlight's going for, is your circadian rhythm,
Yeah.
which helps with like the next one to talk about, which would be sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you're supposed to get in the sunlight early in the morning.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And then if you can at night too,
At night too.
because that also helps. And think of it as early
Sunrise.
sunlight. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
sunset.
sunset.
Okay.
And you're going to get benefits from
The
that as
outside.
well.
Okay.
So
And then, yeah, third, sleep. Tell us
Sleep.
about that.
sleep, you got to work for it. You
Uh-huh.
can't just be like, oh, I got to get some more sleep. You actually
Mhm.
got to work for it. You got to prep for it. The biggest thing with sleeping is you got to stop eating like 3 hours beforehand,
Yeah.
because people that wake up at like 2 to say 3:30 in the morning,
I do
it's a
that
blood
sometimes.
sugar thing.
Yeah.
And your body's waking up going, where do I get this next hit from?
Huh.
And it literally it wakes you up to get some more food, basically.
I just tell myself that my dreams are keeping me up at night. Like,
yeah.
I'm so excited to go go
do
take
whatever
on the day. Yeah,
exactly
I
right.
just am waking up.
Right.
So yeah, I notice a huge difference when I don't eat before bed 3 to 4 or 5 hours. Like I feel like the more time I have not eating before bed, the better quality sleep I get.
Oh yeah.
Like last night, my wife begged to go to In-N-Out at 10 o'clock. So we did. And then I did not sleep good. And I kind of woke up with a headache today.
Exactly. There you go.
I'm like, babe, it's not worth it. But anyway.
And then you got to weigh that too.
It's like
you're
keep her happy.
No, I was going to say, cheeseburgers at 10:30, whatever.
Two bad things. Yeah.
No, I was going to say sometimes that's good. You got to do that.
Yeah.
That's like those,
can't be too extreme.
Right. And it's like, another one of the list of things is relationships.
Yeah.
And for you, it's a relationship with your wife. And somebody else, it's the wife, it's the kids, it's family, it's friends, it's, heck, it's people you've never met that you play Halo with online.
Just social interaction.
Just to throw out a random thing.
So talking sleep too, like I feel like, yes, making sure that you don't eat before bed, huge.
Yeah, there's that.
No like screen time, I've heard before, like an hour
exactly.
before bed. So
turning off all things like I think they say like 45 minutes to an hour beforehand.
Yeah.
And we're not talking blue blocker lights.
Yeah.
Or
just no
glasses.
Yeah.
We're talking nothing. And it's because you're having light streaming in at your eyes that's keeping you up.
So regular room light's fine, just it's screen light or limit light, period.
Well, there's people that take it that far and they'll burn candles at a certain time.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly right.
That's gnarly.
Yeah. Right. Or they'll go around with red headlamps on.
Yeah.
Because the red light doesn't mess with it. Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
And then too, it's like noises, lights while you're sleeping. So we have like blackout screens over the windows, so we could get it as black as possible in there.
Yeah. And I heard like going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time is good. What do you think of that?
That's good, but it's almost like your body averages out.
Yeah.
So you'll if you set a timer to go off and it's like no more, laptop or whatever, no more phone, that's a good thing. And then your body's going to literally average it out and just kind of become accustomed to waking up or falling asleep and waking up at the same time pretty much every day, give or take a half hour.
Yeah, because I don't like waking up with an alarm. I just kind of let my body wake up whenever.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. And with that, I wear an eye mask, so I don't want any light. And then I also wear earplugs because I don't want any sounds. And it's, so, I look a little weird when I go to bed, but I sleep great.
Yeah. So that's good to know. Those are good tips. So far we've talked about, getting sunlight, sleep, fasting a little bit, and then we talked about exercise. What's another one that people could
start? So I kind of mentioned the relatives too.
Yeah, let's
talk about
that a little
make
bit more.
those as good as possible.
Yeah.
That goes for our emotional health, that goes for our chemical health, and then all of those two can kind of go into the physical as well. So, work out with your friends, go out to dinner with your friends, nourish those relationships. And really it's if somebody treats you well and they're great and they're fun, hang out with them.
Yeah.
So
totally. I've noticed like some of the happiest times of my life and some of the darkest. The darkest was when I was like, I shut more people out and I didn't have as much social interaction.
Right.
But the happiest is like when I'm doing things with friends, like my family, and like making good memories.
Right.
Like I feel like social interaction is so key to health and being happy.
Do you have any of those great social those social times, experiences in your life where you were out selling and maybe didn't get a sell, but it was still a great experience?
Oh, I never feel lonely in the summer.
Right, exactly.
Never. Yeah, you're talking to 60 people a day, and you just feel like exhausted by the end.
Right, but there's times probably where you talk to somebody, maybe didn't get the sale,
You still felt good. Yeah,
but you still were like, that guy's cool, or that lady's 100%, cool.
Yeah.
And so for you, think about how that affected your health.
Yeah. Probably
like
really
you
good.
weren't slaving away in a factory someplace, or you know, doing
by myself. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
No, totally. And I in this summer, I really do try with every person that I talk to, like try to leave them better than I found them.
Yeah.
Because it can be annoying for someone to knock on your door and try to pitch you some pest control or some solar and alarms.
Oh, we treat him differently now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You guys want some food? You want some water?
Yeah. Now that you know.
Element.
No, but it's good because like you get like a little like a dopamine rush just knowing that you left them better.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's those three things. That dopamine affects them all. So that affects your physical body, your the chemical side of it, of course, because that's what dopamine is. Yeah. And then that's going to go for your emotional health. And like with us in the office, you've seen it. We're laughing and talking with the patients
all the time.
One of the best patient experiences I had was I was working on a kid, and he had some ankle problems. He played soccer, and it was his first visit. Never been there before, and I basically blew up his ankles and got those to move really good. And he was like, "Oh my gosh!" He gets up and he starts doing this thing where he just does this like floppy thing.
What?
It was the funniest thing ever. Like his parents were laughing at him, his sister was laughing.
Yeah. Why was he doing that? You just decided
that he just felt really good, He's like, I'm really bendy.
What the heck? That's cool though. That's cool.
And it's just, it's just that having that fun for us is really great.
I think that's cool. Ty Lopez, this random guy, he said he talks about the 4 pillars of the good life. He says, start your day with health, and then second is wealth or your career, investing, occupation, like to do your job the best you can. Sure. End your day with love. So health, wealth, love, like spend time with people you love, your friends, your family.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you do those 3 things at the best you can, you'll be happy.
Yeah, perfect.
And it was like the best way to look at like your day. And like I try to spend every night, whether like I'm with my wife, friends, like double date, my family. And I've been doing that for the last 7 years, and I've been happier every year.
Perfect. Yeah.
Better than the last, because I'm getting better at those 3 things.
And it kind of talks about one though is like with and this kind of goes back to like my 3 careers. Is your purpose or your mission? Yeah. What are you
here for?
Right. And we got to figure that out. And I always thought it was, I always knew it was something to help people, to help students, to help, people out in the wilderness, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you were doing. Kids,
exactly.
Teaching them history, yeah.
But this is like, I say that I found my favorite career, my final career. Yeah. Going to do this until basically the day I die, probably.
Yeah, you're not going to transition to be a firefighter.
No, I'm done.
You're done. That's really cool.
And
that's
found
like
that. This and that makes it makes me happy, and I think too it makes my soul happy too.
That's awesome.
So
super cool.
And that's when you're doing those things that you talked about, you spending time in your career, your health, you got to make it your purpose, like
totally.
And you got to know that I'm here for this.
Because a lot of people, it's sad to see. Like I saw my, I hope they don't watch this, but I saw my cousins for the first time in 5 years, and they were just telling me about how much they hated their jobs,
right?
And how soul sucking it was. For them,
exactly. Right.
And how they just weren't excited to go back to work next week.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I can't relate at all. Like,
yeah, good.
I found something that I truly love that I feel like I get so much passion, fulfillment from. Yeah. And
perfect.
A lot of growth and stuff like that. But it's cool.
What's cool though is there's people that are my age that are still looking for it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's too bad.
They're like, well, but
they're looking.
They're still looking.
They're still on the journey.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, totally.
And so that's good. And, you know, and everybody's different. And it's like, you know, my oldest son, he's a fly fishing guide.
Yeah.
He got so lucky that he found his purpose when he was like his early 20s.
Yeah.
And he's doing that.
He's crushing
And people look at that and they're like, that's an awesome job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it is. But he works his butt off.
Yeah.
Not everybody can work like that.
See, that's the thing is like, I agree. And I think.
But he's like, I don't care. I love it.
Yeah.
This is what it takes. This is what I do.
Totally.
So
I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and it was this kid in the MLB. So he plays professional baseball, and he, like, it's a job still. Like, he loves baseball, but he still, like, shows up early mornings when he doesn't want to. Like, I feel like every job has, like, things you love about it, things that you'd rather not have part of the job, but, like, you know that it's serving your purpose, your mission.
yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
The probably the other big pillar of health that we do, of course, because we're chiropractors, is think of it as nervous system health.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where not only are we going back to the fasting.
Yeah.
So remember we talked about the parasympathetic being that rest and healing.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're talking about it. This is where kind of that fasting would go underneath this. It's your nervous system health.
Yeah.
And it's also where the cold plunges go in.
Yeah.
The nasal breathing, the breathing through your nose as quick as you can when you're doing a cold plunge, or if you go into the sauna, or nasal breathing when you're doing exercise too. Nasal breathing when we're just here and we're not talking because you can't breathe through your nose when you're talking. I just smacked that.
No, you're good. Do you recommend like mouth tape?
Oh yeah.
Do you use mouth tape?
I'm pretty sure I've trained myself not to.
Yeah, just.
But there's times when that I'll still use it.
Yeah.
Christina, she uses it.
Yeah.
My oldest son uses it.
Because it makes sense that you're supposed to breathe through your nose. Like your mouth's there to eat.
Exactly.
And you're supposed to breathe through your nose. Like it has a built-in filter.
And it's what I find with my patients is they talk about, oh yeah, it's because you're getting more oxygen. It's like, no. it's the ratio of oxygen to carbon dioxide in your blood
filter
is best better by nasal breathing.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I
mean, your mouth is bigger. Does it make sense that you get less oxygen breathing out of your mouth?
Right.
But that's cool, though.
Literally, when I was in high school, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I breathe through my mouth, I'm going to get more oxygen.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
No, I was just sucking wind.
Yeah.
But other things that go with that, with the nervous system health, of course, it's chiropractic. Every time, and you felt the tools, every time you feel a tool do its little tapping, that's actually stimulating the parasympathetic side of that nervous system.
Interesting.
Massage does the same thing.
Yeah.
Actually, all chiropractic does that, whether it's the big type of forceful one that you twist your neck. That does that. Acupuncture does that.
Yeah.
All different types of massage does that. Even if you're just, have like a gentle Theragun and you're using that on somebody, that does that.
Wow.
So warm baths, sauna, of course, the ice plunge, all those things. Yeah. Stimulate that. So.
That's interesting. I love coming to the chiropractor. I love getting massages. Like you feel so much better after.
Yeah.
We just went to Vegas, got a massage, and it was like the best one I've ever had. And I was like, this little Asian lady. I'm like, how are you so strong to like be able to do this? But I'd get a massage every week. I think that would be really cool. Someday. That'd be sick. But so why cold plunging and saunas? I mean, they're all the rave right now, but
they are. Yeah. One that they're absolutely great for. Think of it as a chemical dump into your body.
Yeah.
And you're stressing the body.
Yeah.
And it's not the stress that helps your body. It's your body's response to the stress that helps it. And I don't know if you've done sauna too much, but like if you do a hard workout and you're like, oh, that was a hard workout, I'm going to be sore tomorrow. you hit a sauna beforehand, and your body's response to the sauna is actually going to help with that soreness of the hard workout.
So if you so you should try and sauna before the workout.
I would do it afterwards.
Oh, okay, sauna after the workout.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then cold plunge after the sauna.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're going to impact your workout negatively.
I've heard that. I've heard that. So I've heard that you shouldn't cold plunge after you hit weights.
Right. Exactly.
Because it will stunt your muscle growth or whatever.
And I always think, well, will you actually notice a difference? And you might.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some people will.
Yeah.
And some people won't.
Yeah.
But and generally, what I'll do is we'll do the cold plunge first, sauna, cold plunge again.
Yeah. Go back and forth.
Although sometimes I'm a wuss and I'm like, the sauna was super nice. Yeah. Oh, look at the time. I got to go to work.
Yeah. Just ended that. No, for reals, I'm a huge believer of cold plunging saunas. You feel amazing after.
Yeah.
I feel like with the cold plunge, it's like a natural, Adderall pretty much.
Oh yeah, totally.
And a natural like antidepressant.
Yep.
Same with the sauna, especially antidepressant for the sauna.
Oh yeah.
Like your depression levels go down for 2 weeks.
It's the emotion. It impacts directly. Well, if you look at it like cold plunge or sauna.
Yeah.
The worst thing about a cold plunge is that it hurts.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's never fun to get in there.
It's never fun to get in there. But that's affecting your physical body, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's the response the body does to that physical stimuli of the cold water that impacts your emotional side or the mental side through the chemicals.
Gotcha.
It's just that chemical dump.
Interesting.
And I don't know if I told you, but when I get into the sauna too a little bit, when I get into the cold plunge, it's like my mind goes blank. Like it's like that black. It's just black.
Really?
It's not that I see black. It's just my mind goes black.
Yeah.
And it's focusing on what's going on right now. And all I can do is just breathe.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
my mind I'm like, okay, like, I gotta slow down my breath.
Yeah.
And you just, you go with it.
Yeah. My mind screams, get the freak out of this thing as fast as you can. And then you go numb after 2 minutes. But so if you haven't sauna under cold plunge or tried fasting, go try it. Like for sure. With cold plunging, I try to do at least a minute. I usually go 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Under 50 degrees. Mine's usually 40, 41. And then with saunas, I try to make sure that the sauna's above, if it's a traditional sauna, above 170 for 20 minutes. And I try to do both of those 4 to 7 times a week.
And then if it's an infrared sauna,
if it's infrared,
just get as hot as it'll go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that hits different on the tissues.
Exactly. Right.
I actually haven't done too many infrared saunas. Do you recommend infrared sauna or traditional?
Both, whichever you got.
Okay.
We've got the infrared in our house, so we use that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And Dr. Christina's probably in it right now.
Yeah, just chilling.
Yeah.
Do you read in the sauna? You just breathe? You just meditate?
Both, all of that.
Yeah.
Listen to audiobooks.
Cool.
I mounted a TV so I can see it through the sauna door.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
that's sick.
She was in the sauna watching the national or the National League championship game, the one between the Detroit and the Niners.
Just sitting in the sauna.
Sitting in the sauna.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say the last thing, like for overall health, is just like be spiritually grounded. And so that might be some people, that might be religion. Whatever religion it is, just love it and do it.
Yeah.
Some people it might just be their religion is hiking up in the woods.
Yeah.
And that's them being spiritually grounded.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, like I go to church and stuff and I feel good.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel really connected when I'm in nature, like beach, the woods, hiking, or I feel really spiritually connected when I'm growing, like in any area of my life.
Yeah. Perfect.
Or if I'm like contributing, giving. in some way.
Yeah. Giving
Like,
back to people. Right?
Yeah. Like I honestly feel the spirit and feel more spiritually grounded in business than any other time of my life.
No. Yeah. That's
crazy.
great.
Yeah.
And just think how that goes for that emotional health that you have. And it's just, keeping you right up there. So that's perfect.
Mason gets mad. She's like, you can't feel spiritual at business. I'm like, business is a spiritual game, like,
sure.
Yeah. So, so we talked about so many great things that people could go, apply. Last thing I want to ask you about, what about nutrition? What are some good principles nutrition wise? Dr. Brett is crazy with nutrition.
You got to find yours.
Yeah. He drinks bone broth 3 times a day or whatever.
No, not 3 times a day. Bone broth is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that your family was like, you eat what for breakfast? Was like sauerkraut.
Yeah, nasty.
I absolutely love sauerkraut for breakfast. And kimchi too. Kimchi for breakfast, I like kimchi. Is great too.
Yeah, my dad served in Korea, so
okay. Kimchi, yeah. But it's really, I think the one that I'm probably most drawn to right now is it's like the carnivore diet, where it's those the meats.
Yeah, red meat. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do chicken though. But I'm always looking for like, the best type of chicken. I'm not going to buy something that was
Costco rotisserie. No.
Yeah. I'm not going to get that.
Yeah. It's $5 for a reason. Just kidding.
I think it's $7.99.
Yeah. Oh, it is now.
But, and it's like those animal products that have been sourced really well.
Yeah, totally.
So eggs, that
pasture raised. Yeah.
Whether
organic.
It's chickens or grass-fed beef or, venison or elk or whatever.
Yeah.
Wild caught fish.
Totally. Salmon.
I'll do like farmed shellfish, like oysters and stuff like that, just because they're fine.
Yeah.
Farming shellfish, they're just out growing in the bottom of the
ocean.
Of the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff like that's fine. Very few potatoes and stuff like that.
Starchy.
Yeah.
What's because I think my favorite...
A few fruits, of course, too.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite like book I've read on health and like nutrition specific is Dr. Hyman's Food, What the Heck to Eat.
Sure.
That one's probably my favorite. Do you have what are your top 3 recommendations for books? Health or does it have to be nutrition? But you got some good ones.
You how much time you got? So Dr. Gundry.
Yeah,
he put out the keto code. I think that's not the full name of it. It's something about the keto.
Okay, but
code.
Dr. Gundry, they'll be able to find it.
Yeah, Dr. Gundry's keto book.
Okay.
And he goes through and he'll literally, so for his keto book, it's foods like we just talked about. But they're also foods that are 0 lecithin. And that is a plant, is it amino acid? Protein? Plant protein that can kind of mess with us health-wise and cause inflammation.
Interesting.
So he's all about lecithin and removing it from the diet.
Oh, yeah.
And there's
the lectins.
Yeah. But with the and then too, I know like Paul Saladino put out his book about carnivore diet, and I've seen some great healing with that as well.
Yeah, Joe Rogan swears about the carnivore diet. Yeah,
right.
People.
Yeah, exactly.
My friend lost like 50 pounds on the carnivore diet too. Yeah.
The thing that so I there's a guy from chiropractic school that I kind of follow, and that's where I learned all about fasting and a lot of that nervous system health. And his thing is it was always, we need to keep those carbs down, even the fruits. And he's actually even said, like one, and I'm in the same way. It's like, until I can see the research
that proves that,
to prove that, or get like the best conglomerate of research out there to like kind of figure out what's going on, I'm going to reserve my right to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like with foods and stuff, it's so hard to do a great study on like an actual research study on food, because you cannot control every variable unless you lock somebody up and feed them the right food.
Right. Interesting.
And have like hundreds and thousands of people doing that.
Yeah.
And have control groups.
Yeah.
And so
it's tough.
It is. Yeah. And so, and there's a lot of variability in that with what's running in the background of people's health.
Yeah.
And for them.
Yeah.
Whereas some people could be perfectly fine with avocado. It messes with cash.
Interesting.
So he avoids the avocado.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. There's a lot of different people with different, things that they can eat, can't eat.
And like you mentioned other books, the other book that, and I think have you gone to a Dr. Dispenza?
My sister has, and my mom.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
loved it. Yeah.
Right.
Joe Dispenza.
So Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Oh, that's a great one.
I actually saw him speak in chiropractic school for free.
Because he's a chiropractor.
He is a chiropractor. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if he's in practice anymore, but he was. Yeah. But his thing is we are creating our own, our own path, our own future, our own experiences based off of elevated emotions. And his main thing in that book and other books is elevated emotions. So joy, love, happiness, gratitude.
Yeah.
All those things. And I mean, I put that to work early on. And, that's how I caught Dr. Christina.
Yeah.
So that
Treasure
our relationship,
her. Yeah.
Our business, that's, and the kind of the different relationships I have with family, with friends, and most recently our house. Just we looked at less than 10 homes, and the first one that we were like, this is our house, because I put out that elevated emotion of being like literally standing in the backyard, being in love with it.
Yeah.
I felt that years before, and being happy back there in the backyard. And I went out into the backyard when I was watching this, or when we were looking at this house, and I was like, oh, I'm home. This is it.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Wow.
And we put in the offer and they accepted it.
Wow. It was meant to be.
People look for 6 months for a home. We look for 2 days.
Wow. Yeah. Joe Dispenza's story is crazy, and how he talks about law of attraction and the power of the mind and thought. And
exactly.
Everything is super cool.
And then too, with that, there's I don't know if you've heard of him. It's Vishen Lakhiani.
I don't think so.
So his system is called the Ultramind system, and it comes from the Silva method. But it's around the same type of information, where like with Dr. Joe's book gets into a lot about brain waves. So alpha waves, and which is when we're sleeping. And, but with meditation, you can get into that same alpha wave. And what Vishen, he goes by Vishen, talks about is using that alpha wave to do the same type of thing. And I actually like, Dr. Joe's is fantastic. And I think, Vishen's Ultramind system has been a little bit more, like step by step. So it's been pretty good too. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
No, love those. I'm going to check out. I need to read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself again. And Joe's other books are phenomenal too.
What is it? Becoming Supernatural is one of them. I think. Yeah. They're all great.
They're crazy.
And it's really about like even becoming supernatural. He talks about using different apps to get your, to make like your mind movie. I don't think he uses mind movie, but you're basically using it to create a movie of what you want in the future. And like Visions does that through just seeing yourself doing certain things.
Oh, I'm a huge
So
believer.
like if you want to, visualization is what it is.
Because like my parents had us watching. Have you seen The Secret, the movie?
Oh yeah.
They had us
Dr.
watching,
Joe's in it.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, exactly.
He is.
He is.
I was just, what the freak? I remember him speaking.
Yep.
But they had us watching that on car rides growing up.
Yeah, there you go.
They'd make us kids watch that. And I swear, I just remember thinking it was like hokey. But like, my parents have always talked about writing goals down,
but it works.
Affirmations. It works. Even Kobe Bryant literally would say that when he was like younger, he would go to sleep just thinking about being in the NBA, scoring three after three after three after three, getting 50 points, 60 points, 70 points. And he dreamed his 80-point game hundreds of times.
Really?
And then
That's
he
awesome.
actually had an 80-point game in the NBA. Crazy.
And the only thing that so that's experiencing it.
Yeah.
You're putting out the experience beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And really to just add to that just a little bit is to experience the emotions you have with that.
Yeah, totally.
Like what is it like to score
what does it feel like?
80-point game? Like I mean,
the senses.
My thing is like one of my best days in work as a chiropractor was when that kid got up and did this little body shake thing.
That's
and
cool.
Just laughing.
Yeah, like you did that.
And I wasn't laughing at him. I was just laughing because it was just hilarious.
To witness.
To witness it. Yeah. And it's, so yeah, it's just that happiness that comes from like, oh yeah, I just helped that kid experience that.
That's super cool.
So.
No, I believe it 100%. And I feel like my philosophy, with going back to nutrition a little bit, is I try to eat grass-fed beef.
Perfect.
I try to eat organic, antibiotic-free, like chicken, like super.
Yep, exactly.
And then pasture-raised eggs are way better than cage-free or any of the other eggs.
Uh-huh.
And then I try to eat organic fruits and vegetables as much as possible.
Yep.
Because a lot of that's been sprayed with pesticide. Like I heard something that if you squeezed all the juice out of normal strawberries and then sprayed the strawberry juice on a farm, it'd work just like a normal pesticide.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So like,
oh my gosh,
that's what,
an organic farm, you spray it on there.
It's like, it's not an organic farm anymore. If you use the juice of the strawberries that were sprayed with because they soak everything in. So I try to eat, organic fruits and vegetables for the most part, organic, like bread, like flour, all that stuff too, because that's been sprayed with pesticide. Sure. And then it's hard eating out because 99% of places like don't have grass-fed beef or organic fruits, vegetables.
Yeah.
I feel like aubergine's pretty good. I don't know if you've heard of aubergine. Yeah. I like Cubby's. Cubby's has grass-fed beef.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Yeah. Tell me some.
McDonald's?
What?
100% beef.
Really?
Patties.
Really?
Except you can just have the patty. That's it.
Are they grass-fed?
No.
But they're 100%.
And that's where it goes. They're 100% beef. They don't have any fillers in them.
Oh, that's good.
Mind blown, right?
Yeah. But you can only have the patty.
You can only have the patty.
No French fries, none of that.
No
water. Ice cream. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's reverse osmosis water. But and it's like, say you're traveling and you're starving and you're like, I gotta have food.
Mm-hmm.
There's McDonald's is everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
And say you have 3 of those patties, it's not gonna hurt you too much.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to do anything to you.
Yeah.
If you're relying, 85, 90% is that, grass-fed, organic.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and it's funny because a lot of people, like I see some of my friends in the summer, eating crap Pop-Tarts, caffeinated drinks, the Monsters, all that stuff. And I'm like, you're making all this money and then you're going to have to spend it all later down the road, on your medical bills.
Totally.
I'm
that's why I'm the way I am.
Yeah.
It's because, and it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about all those other things, those relationships.
Yeah.
that purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I want for as long as I can have it.
100%. Because you can't function if you are feeling down. Or you.
Do we need to bring up Steve Jobs?
Oh yeah, he died early. Cancer.
Yeah.
Same with Larry H. Miller. He bought the Jazz and sold it to Ryan Smith, but he wasn't even there to sell it to Ryan Smith because he died at like 55. I read his autobiography.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And that's and I got the motivation from my dad, who passed away when he was 74.
Yeah.
But my main thing is, I don't want to. I've got the genes for it. I've got the genes for Alzheimer's, dementia. I've had head trauma.
Yeah.
and
Same.
I only talked about 3 concussions.
Yeah.
And I think as I counted all of them, and this is the times that I've just been knocked out, we're talking like 8 or 9 times.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah. Go hard or go home, right?
Yeah.
That
dumb. Was your motto.
That's dumb. Well, I was the kid that they'd be like, hey, we just built this jump for our bikes.
You go send
Brett, go over it. Okay.
Wow.
And so I've got that. And from everything that I've kind of like accumulated, it's like, this is the best way to go about it. And so that's
super
what I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I feel like it's sad when I see people don't like prioritize health. And it's so sad because, in short term, it might be hard to prioritize health. It might be more expensive to buy healthy, to spend time outside every day, to eat healthy, to prioritize sleep, to not eat before you go to bed, like all these things we talked about, to cold plunge, to sauna every day. But it's an investment and it's hard in the short term, but long term, you're going to have so many benefits.
Oh yeah, totally.
And even in the moment, you feel better, you know?
And,
so,
I of course, for me, health is the greatest asset.
Yeah.
It's not the Porsche.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the Raptor.
I agree. No pun intended on that one.
No pun intended on that one.
Got a Raptor in the parking lot right now.
But it's stuff like that. It's if you're not here to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like even driving the Raptor.
Yeah.
That's probably a great experience.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to enjoy that as long as possible.
Totally.
And so then you got to do the work of the other stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think the Raptor is an investment because it's going to protect me in a car accident versus like a little Tesla or a little Porsche. I feel bad for whoever crashes into
drive
me,
over the top
unless
of it,
it's like a semi.
Well, that's why we still have the 95 Chevy truck for cash.
Yeah.
He can hit whatever he wants, and you can't tell
what happened.
What happened to the truck?
No, that's awesome. No, I agree 100% with that though.
Yeah,
that's cool.
There's is he a trainer? I think he's a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
He runs. It's on Instagram. It's at Physiology First.
Okay.
And his thing is, he's focusing on kids.
Yeah.
So junior high, high school kids, and younger, I guess too.
Mm-hmm.
But his thing is, we're not doing them any good service unless we're training them this certain way. And it's you got to teach them about their body. You got to teach them about all this stuff that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And you got to teach them that those choices that they make with the food is contributing to those issues.
Yeah.
So that them being stressed out, them being anxious, how many caffeinated drinks did they have?
Yeah.
How much ultra processed food did they have?
Right.
That
chips, soda,
contributes
Gatorade,
to all of that stuff.
Interesting.
So, and he actually had a great quote that was, nature does not negotiate with culture. Our culture is fast food. It's heavily processed foods.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it's whole,
and it's to play video games for hours on
it. Well, it's like the food that the government pushes gets everyone sick, so they got to go take drugs to go attack the
That's podcast
symptoms.
number 2 and 3.
Yeah, we need to go talk about that. But it's like the food, it fuels the drugs, which fuels even more sickness and more. It's just a cycle.
That book is called Metabolical.
Is that a book?
Metabolical.
Okay.
by Dr. Robert Lustig.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I need to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
it goes through how big pharma and the medical side. Big pharma is different from the medical side.
Yeah.
It's the medical business.
Mm-hmm.
And the big food corporations,
Mm-hmm.
the big agricultural.
Yeah, the pesticide companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Not residential.
And
We're talking farm pesticides.
glyphosate.
Yeah.
And then the government
Yeah.
they're all
Mixed in
making money off of each
Yeah.
other.
Billions of dollars, trillions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow. Well, I'm excited about episode 2. This has
Yeah,
been
exactly.
fun.
We'll get into that.
Well, yeah, wrapping
Part two.
Part two.
2.
Wrapping things up though, where can people find you? Obviously, if you Google the Body Chiropractor, you'll find your website, right?
Body Chiropractic, take you to our website.
Heck yeah.
We do kids,
Pets.
The youngest child, the youngest baby that I've adjusted was 5 days old.
Wow.
And she got help. The youngest baby that Dr. Christina adjusted was 3 days old.
Wow.
And she got help. All the way up to my oldest patient is 97.
Wow.
So, and they all get help.
Anyone of any size.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like we're in Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Just Google the Body Chiropractic.
Yeah, I 100% attest. Dr. Brett, it's been a game changer for me, my family. We've referred him so many people because we were just blown away every time we come in.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's been fun.
You know how we met your family?
Yeah, through my uncle, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
That's right.
We got to give a shout out to Jared.
Shout out to Jared Pearson, man. He set us up. But yeah, go check them out. Go give them business. Really good. Like my parents saw a bunch of different chiropractors, and out of all of them, like Dr. Brett's been by far the best. And not only does he help us with adjustments, but any like health hack question or thing that he learns, he teaches us. So it's a double whammy when you go visit him. So
there you go. I'm pretty sure I was the one that mentioned to your mom about Dr. Joe, and
yeah, I think you did originally.
that was pretty cool that they went to one of his retreats.
They said it was crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It'd be fun to go, but yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys got value, which I know you did, send it to a friend if you think they'd like it. And yeah, till next time, peace out.
Peace.